Hello, and welcome to KeyLang Daily News for January 8, 2026. I'm bringing you today's top 20 world news stories. Let's begin. News 1. Trump confirms military force not ruled out for Venezuela, Greenland. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stated President Trump reserves the right to use military force if necessary. She said diplomacy is always the first option, but all options remain on the table. This comes after U.S. Special Forces captured Venezuelan President Maduro on Saturday. European leaders have expressed strong concerns about potential military action regarding Greenland. News 2. Trump announces personal control of Venezuelan oil sales. President Trump said Venezuela's interim authorities will turn over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to the United States. He stated he will personally control the proceeds from sales at market price. The U.S. Energy Department confirmed all proceeds will be settled in U.S.-controlled accounts at recognized banks. Energy Secretary Chris Wright said the U.S. will sell Venezuelan production indefinitely. News 3. U.S. seizes Russian-flagged oil tankers in Atlantic and Caribbean. The U.S. Coast Guard and Special Forces seized 2 oil tankers linked to Venezuelan oil trade. The operations were supported by Britain's Royal Air Force. One vessel was accompanied by a Russian submarine providing escort when boarded. The White House said both ships were stateless and subject to judicial seizure orders for sanctions violations. News 4. Canadian Prime Minister to meet Xi Jinping in first China visit in decade. Prime Minister Mark Carney will visit China next week for talks with President Xi Jinping. The discussions will cover trade, energy, agriculture, and international security. This marks the first visit by a Canadian Prime Minister to China in nearly 10 years. The visit comes as Canada seeks to rebuild relations and reduce economic reliance on the U.S. News 5. ICE officer kills U.S. woman during Minneapolis immigration operation. An Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer shot and killed a Minneapolis motorist during an immigration crackdown. Federal officials claimed the shooting was self-defense. Minneapolis mayor described the action as reckless and unnecessary. The incident occurred in a residential neighborhood near immigrant markets during Trump administration enforcement operations. News 6. European leaders warn Greenland belongs to its people. European leaders meeting in Paris expressed concerns about Trump's comments on seeking American takeover of Greenland. They stated Greenland belongs to its people, not external powers. Secretary of State Rubio reportedly said Trump's threats were intended to bring Denmark to negotiating table. Several European officials indicated the move would cross a red line. News 7. Swiss ski bar fire kills 40 after years without safety inspections. A New Year's Eve fire at a bar in Crans, Montana killed 40 people and injured 116. Families expressed shock that the establishment had not been inspected for years before the deadly incident. Swiss authorities are investigating the cause of the fire. The tragedy has raised questions about safety oversight in mountain resort areas. News 8. Kosovo faces severe flooding and power outages. Heavy rains have caused severe flooding across Kosovo, leaving roads submerged and homes flooded. Power outages are reported across several regions as temperatures drop below freezing. Drone footage from Kuzmin shows cars underwater and neighborhoods inundated. Emergency services remain on high alert with more rain forecast in coming days. News 9. Argentina secures $3 billion international loan. Argentina obtained a $3 billion loan from international banks led by Santander, BBVA, and Deutsche Bank. The central bank reached a one-year repurchase agreement at a rate of 7.4%. The funds will help cover foreign debt payments. The loan represents significant international financial support for Argentina's economic stabilization efforts. News 10. UK criticised for £240 million deal with US tech giant Palantir. Former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn criticised Britain's government for awarding Palantir a major defence contract. The US data and AI company received £240 million for military analytics capabilities. Corbyn cited the company's links to Israeli military operations and U.S. immigration enforcement. The deal is worth 3 times more than a previous contract signed in 2022. News 11. Armed groups conduct kidnappings across Nigerian states. Armed groups have abducted multiple victims, including a photojournalist, across Kwara, Katsina, and Kaduna states. The incidents occurred days after attackers killed over 40 people in Niger State last weekend. Security forces are responding to the coordinated operations across multiple northern Nigerian regions. The attacks highlight ongoing security challenges in the area. News 12. OpenAI launches ChatGPT Health for medical records integration. OpenAI introduced ChatGPT Health to connect medical records and wellness applications. The new platform aims to integrate artificial intelligence with healthcare data management. The launch represents OpenAI's expansion into specialized industry applications. Details about privacy protections and regulatory compliance were not immediately available. News 13. Putin attends Christmas service with Ukraine war veterans. Russian President Vladimir Putin celebrated Christmas Eve at an Orthodox service in the Moscow region. He was joined by veterans of Russia's ongoing military operation in Ukraine and their families. The event highlighted the continued religious and cultural dimensions of the conflict. Putin has regularly used such occasions to demonstrate support for military personnel. News 14. U.S. warns Venezuelan Interior Minister could be next target. The Trump administration reportedly warned Venezuelan Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello he could be next if he doesn't support acting President Delcy Rodriguez. U.S. officials expressed concern that Cabello could sabotage Washington's transition plans. The warning comes as the U.S. seeks to maintain stability while pursuing access to Venezuelan oil. Cabello has long been considered the regime's real number 2. News 15. Berlin power outage highlights German infrastructure vulnerability. A power outage in Berlin was caused by a suspected arson attack as temperatures dropped below freezing. The incident highlighted German vulnerability to infrastructure sabotage. Emergency services responded to restore power to affected areas. The attack raises questions about the security of critical infrastructure across Germany. News 16. Wall Street may benefit beyond oil from Venezuela actions. Analysts suggest Wall Street investors beyond oil companies may benefit from Trump's military action in Venezuela. Various U.S. industries could gain access to Venezuelan markets and resources. The country possesses significant mineral wealth beyond petroleum reserves. Investment opportunities may extend to infrastructure, mining, and financial services sectors. News 17. Rubio plans Denmark meeting on Greenland interest. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said he plans to meet Danish officials next week about American interest in Greenland. He stated acquisition through negotiation, not military force, is the preferred path. The meetings come as European allies warn Trump's remarks risk fracturing the Atlantic alliance. Denmark has previously rejected any discussion of Greenland's sale. News 18. Oil market responds to Venezuelan supply uncertainty. Brent crude prices declined 1.37% to $59.87 per barrel. The drop followed announcements about Venezuelan oil seizures and U.S. market control. Energy analysts question whether increased Venezuelan production is needed given current market conditions. Saudi Arabia and UAE are already considering production increases. News 19. South America's mineral wealth at center of U.S.-China competition. The outcome of U.S. actions in Venezuela will determine control over South American mineral resources. The region contains significant rare earth deposits crucial for energy transition technologies. Competition between U.S. and Chinese interests extends beyond oil to strategic minerals. The conflict may shape whether resources support renewable energy or traditional military applications. News 20. NATO unity questioned over Trump's Greenland ambitions. European leaders have sounded alarms over Trump's ambitions to take control of Greenland. Analysts warn that unilateral U.S. action could cause the post-Second World War alliance system to collapse. The situation has become a test case for NATO solidarity. European diplomacy faces challenges if Trump proceeds with acquisition plans. That's all for today's world news. Thank you for joining us on KeyLang Daily News. Stay informed, and we'll see you tomorrow with more global updates.